He's the total package. He's the best player in the world. He's a champion, and he's on course to go for a three-peat. Not only is he going to his fourth consecutive NBA Finals, but he's in a position to win his third straight NBA championship. To me, if that doesn't warrant consideration on the Mount Rushmore of NBA superstars, and that doesn't cement him as the greatest small forward of all time, and it doesn't cement him as somebody who is clearly the elite player in the entire world, I don't know what else will.
Cement him as the greatest small forward of all time. That is our own Stephen A. Smith speaking this weekend. Skip Bayless to my left. I have a question. Is he jumping out of his chair? Does this validate LeBron James as the greatest small forward ever?
Okay. Stephen A. Smith, I'm going to be dead honest with you. I watched you say that live on Saturday Morning Sports Center. Is that right? I believe so. Saturday Morning Sports Center?
It was.
And I got to tell you, as Ernestine will attest, I lost it, man. I went crazy.
Shocking.
I threw a pillow at the screen. I did. I threw a pillow right at your big fat face. Your big skinny face, I guess. I went out of my mind. She said, "What are you so worked up about?" I said, Do you realize what this man just said on live national television? How can we leap to that conclusion after LeBron and company had just waltzed through what I thought was the weakest Eastern Conference playoffs I can ever remember that a contender got to cakewalk through? I mean, seriously, what did they do? What did they prove? What was it, Charlotte, and then who was next? Oh, yeah, the Nets.
Oh,
what were left of the Nets? And then the Pacers had fallen on their faces. It was just pathetic. Meanwhile, the Spurs are really proving something because they had to fight uphill through what I thought was the toughest, deepest Western Conference playoffs I'd ever seen. So now, I got to tell you, and you're going to think this is cruel and unusual, but I'm going to do it because you broached this subject. So we had this debate last week, and we did basketball versus basketball. We did Larry Bird versus LeBron James. And I'm here to tell you, I'm not the biggest, nor was I ever the biggest Larry Bird fan. But I got to defend this man's legacy against LeBron. Okay. And I went way out of my way earlier in the show to criticize Larry Bird, the general manager of the Indiana Pacers. You did likewise.
On balance.
So I have to ask you, let's just do the biggest picture here. Did Larry Bird, would he have ever melted down the way LeBron James melted down against the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA Finals? No. Would Larry Bird, would he ever have come apart down the stretch of last year's NBA Finals Game 6 the way LeBron James did, when LeBron had 3 ugly turnovers that gave my Spurs the chance to close the deal with 28 seconds left? Last 6 minutes, 3 big turnovers. Then LeBron misses the game-tying three-point shot, gets the luckiest rebound with no Tim Duncan in the game. I had no problem with that. To Bosh, to Ray Allen, who saved LeBron James' legacy with that three-point shot that sent the game into overtime. And finally, would Larry Bird ever have come apart the way LeBron James did just the other night in Game 5 back in Indiana? I realize he got in foul trouble. He shot 2 for 10 in that game, and as time wound down to triple zeros, LeBron James drove down the lane with a chance to go up over Roy Hibbert, who had to move sideways into him, maybe dunk on him, maybe make the shot, at least have the guts to get fouled and go to that free throw line and make those 2 free throws to send that game to overtime. Nope, he dished to Bosh in the corner, who, of course, seemed a little taken aback by the pass and missed the shot. Would Larry Bird have ever done all of the above? I don't think so. So, to me, it's an insult to Larry Bird's legacy to leap to the conclusion off what LeBron just did in these playoffs and say, well, that cements it. LeBron James is the greatest small forward ever. We can break down the basketball again, but I'm just going to leave it in the big picture with, would Larry Bird have ever done these things that LeBron didn't do here, where he couldn't come through? I'm sorry, he would not have.
The reason I don't like this kind of debate is because I don't mean to cast any aspersions on Larry Bird, because to me there are none to cast. Larry Bird is one of the all-time greats. Larry Bird is a 3-time champion, is a 3-time league MVP. Larry Bird was absolutely phenomenal. And more importantly, he was a closer. and I would have preferred him in the last 2 minutes of a game. I would prefer him over LeBron James. I will concede that because he's a sharpshooter. Larry Bird was a marksman. Larry Bird is the guy that showed up All-Star Weekend, launched a three-point shot in the three-point shooting contest, and before the last one went in, just put up his hand #1 and just walked up before it even went in. I mean, Larry Bird.
Do you know the story of what he said to those guys in the locker room before they went out?
No.
Which one?
I'll just leave it.
I'll leave it later.
It's politically very incorrect.
He basically told them, I don't even know why y'all showed up.
That's correct.
Why are you wasting your time? Because y'all about to get smoked.
Okay.
But that wasn't the language you used.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that I understand this. But when a Mark Jackson comes out and he says what he said about LeBron James, the people who agree with him and what he said about LeBron James, what they're thinking about is not the 2 minutes or just the clutch moments. They're thinking about the 48 minutes a night over the course of 82 games and all the things winning basketball games entails. You are absolutely right when you point to LeBron James and his problems in the past as it pertained to taking the big shot. First of all, he was never as good and never will be as good of a shooter as Larry Bird was, and especially not from the free throw line, because even though Larry Bird shot in the 80th percentile, when it was money, Larry Bird didn't miss free throws. Yeah. I mean, I can count maybe 2 free throws he's missed in his career in a clutch moment. This dude never missed free throws. So if you have that kind of confidence as a marksman, of course you're the guy that I would prefer in the clutch. But there are moments that get you to the clutch moments that most people don't have the skills to take you there night in and night out. LeBron James is that dude at 6'8", at 250, with the ability to play all 4 positions on both ends of the floor offensively and defensively. You can't ignore that. What Mark Jackson is alluding to is the total package that LeBron James is, simply as a physical specimen. When we look at Kevin Durant, now obviously I was wrong. I engaged in a bit of hyperbole myself because I talked about how he could be the greatest scorer and eclipse Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Well, that's not accurate because he'd have to play all 82 regular season games for the next 10 years while averaging 30 each season in order to eclipse Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and that just doesn't appear to be humanly possible, okay? But we look at Kevin Durant and the offensive repertoire that he has at his disposal, and we concede that LeBron ain't him, but we still call LeBron the best in the world, not Durant. Why? Because of all the other things that equates to winning basketball games and that LeBron brings to the table. Bird doesn't do that. Bird wasn't as impactful defensively. I'm not saying he was a scrub, but he was not impactful defensively. Bird was a nightmare offensively because he could shoot the lights out and could take you out and could rip your heart right out of your chest because he was such a sniper, a marksman. But he didn't have the overall impact that a LeBron James had. And that's the difference. So all I'm saying is this. I was in Oklahoma City, and the writer, Darnell Mayberry, good young writer for the Oklahoman, right? Like him. He introduced me to some dude that was that's a radio host there. This dude, I mean, Lord, Kobe might as well divorce his wife and marry this dude. The way this dude loved this guy, the way this dude loved Kobe, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. But the dude, in all fairness to him, and I'm not knocking him because the dude's a nice guy, radio host locally, and he made very, very valid points about Kobe. Okay? And what I said was, yeah. But the problem is, it's not that Kobe don't belong on the Mount Rushmore, because he does. But when you think about Kobe, you inevitably think about MJ because they were the same. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. They were the same. And I'm saying when you think about LeBron, you don't think about in comparison to MJ or in comparison to Kobe. You think about somebody totally different. And I think about, I don't look at LeBron the way I look at Bird. When I look at Bird, I think about closure. Somebody that closes. When I think about LeBron, I'm like, damn, where can I not use him? Do I need a point guard? Do I need a shooting guard? Do I need a small forward? Do I need a power forward? Do you want to play center? I mean, he was what Magic was as a rookie when Magic played center against Caldwell Jones and Darryl Dawkins and dropped 42 to win an NBA championship. LeBron is whatever it takes. Bird is Bird.
Okay.
That's how I look at it.
All right. Now, remember, Larry Bird, a little better rebounder than LeBron James.
Yes.
Because he was 6'9", so he's, let's give him an inch taller
But he spent more time in the post than on the perimeter.
All right, a little better rebounder. To me, he is at least in the ballpark with LeBron as a passer. He had the gift of passing vision.
Okay.
He didn't have the ball in his hands as much as LeBron tends to have it, because LeBron basically plays the point for this team. When they're at their best, he's got the ball in his hands as a point forward or point guard or whatever you want to call him.
Okay.
Larry Bird on defense, I'm going to remind you, he was more of a disruptor on defense than LeBron is, because he's 31st on the all-time steals list. 31st, that's pretty high. And I haven't looked at it closely, but I'll bet you'd find mostly guards above him. This is a 6'9" guy who's 31st in steals. So give him that. Like, he's not a liability on defense.
I'm not trying to, but see, that's why I preface my comments by saying what I said, and I want to take anything away from
That's why you like the debate. Yeah.
But my Lord, when you have Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish on the front line with you, lanes are easier to predict in terms of where the ball's going, because you know it don't want to go there. If you've got the Chief waiting in the middle, if you've got Kevin McHale waiting on one other side, excuse me, you're limited in what you can do because the post is patrolled. Also, it facilitates you grabbing more rebounds because of who they're able to shield off, because there's something called boxing out for a reason. And so they're doing their jobs, which helps facilitate Bird grabbing more rebounds. I'm not taking away his passing ability. Of course, he was a great passer, but look who he was passing to. I mean, that takes into consideration. When you look at LeBron James's number, remember, this is his 4th season with the Miami Heat. But he's been in the league for 11 years.
Right.
And there were many years where you couldn't even mention another name of a dude he was playing with. This dude has averaged, LeBron has not averaged less than 26.7 points a game since his rookie year.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
Okay, but look at Larry Bird.
I'm just saying. Around 24, the numbers are there.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying to you is that LeBron is more of a total package. Bird, 2 minutes left, I want him. I want Bird, period, don't get me wrong. But 2 minutes left, oh, that's my man. Come on, Bird. I don't care what it takes, because he's a closer. But in terms of total package, I totally get where Mark Jackson's coming from.
Okay,
I can't argue with that.
So what do you think if today's GMs were given a choice, completely hypothetical,
Right.
of Larry Bird, he didn't start until he was 23.
Right.
So let's say Bird at 23 or LeBron at 23.
Let me tell you,
okay,
let me answer that question. I'm
20.
glad you brought that up, because you need to stop trying to hoodwink the public the way you can sometimes.
You've been hoodwinking.
You know basketball too well to know that completely depends on what you have. You know you don't just blanketly say Bird over LeBron. You know that. It all depends on who you have.
Starting your team.
Time out.
Starting over. Expansion team.
If you start off an expansion team, you're going to go with LeBron.
No, you're not.
Yes,
You're
you
going
are.
with Bird.
Yes, you
Sounds
are.
like a debate.
You're going
Yes,
with
you are.
Bird.
You're going to go with LeBron.
Sounds like a
I'm going
debate.
Larry Bird.
Now, if I have other pieces in place, I need Bird. But if I don't have, especially if I don't have
if you have
shooters.
no
What if I have,
Yeah.
let me ask you a question. If I got Durant and Ray Allen, all right, on the same team, Durant and Ray, not LeBron, Durant and Ray Allen, do I want LeBron or Bird? I want Bird, because I've got Durant and Ray Allen. I'm sorry, I want LeBron because I got 2 shooters.
Oh, you want
But
LeBron.
if I don't have the shooters, then I want Bird. You see, it all depends on what you got, because they're that elite. Both of them are that elite.
Who do you want for your cornerstone to build around your franchise?
LeBron.
It's Larry
LeBron.
Bird. On
LeBron.
intangibles alone, it's Larry
LeBron.
Bird.
Let's leave it there.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Next question.
We
Unless I'm
need
in
you
Boston.
to tune in. Excuse me. Actually, tweet us. Expansion team. You want LeBron or you want Bird? Let us know, because this sounds like a debate we need to further. Stephen A., let me get this right as we wrap. LeBron can do it all. Bird's the closer, which is why
That's right.
you didn't want to pick this debate per se.
Bird's a marksman. He's a sniper.
Spurs say Tony Parker's ankle is good to go, Skip Bayless.